Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be reviewing the two-door Defender. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehigh for giving me some time with this Defender. I'll include a link to the website in the description down below. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 3-liter turbo inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 395 horsepower and then 406 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, this one's completely blacked out, including the checker plates that are always blacked out. It'd be interesting if they did different colors with the checker plates. Think about that for a second. Anyways, we've got the cool headlight design down below, which I've always been a fan of with the Land Rovers. And when you turn them on, I don't know, it's kind of a fun little thing, just pops on. Anyways, everything else is all blacked out. You got parking sensors and all of that, so it's got that Batmobile Defender look. Now our tire wheel setup is 275 by 45 by 22 in the front and over in the rear. You can see here with the wheels, you've got that 5-spoke design, and then that's pretty cool with the little painted fender flare there. And then yeah, everything else you'll see is all blacked out. That's the theme of this Defender, and now you can see the two-door style. Now this leads us to the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function. That's for the lights, that's unlock the hatch. Land Rover logo here on the back, so it's all pretty cool. And popping into said rear, we've got the swing gate here in the back, which I wish more manufacturers would add this to cars, because I like spare tires on the back rather than underneath the car personally. Now you don't get a lot of storage space behind the seats here in the 90. You still get the air suspension function to raise and lower it. But yeah, you basically have to fold down those seats if you want any reasonable amount of storage. And plop. Really cool taillight design. Got the spare tire there on the back. Recovery points on this one. You got the hitch as well. It's the rest of the rear. And being the two-door means that we only have the front door here. So you've got really nice trim on it. The door is basically just an extension. You can see where the normal door kind of ends and this one just keeps on going. It's very interesting looking, to say the least. Got our window controls here. Mirror adjustments, memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with said mirrors. And then we've got the back seats. So you can see they're actually really nice. And just like a two-door Wrangler, you actually have good space there for passengers. And it does have the little skylights there, so it makes it feel really open. It's just getting in there is a pain because of the two-door style. You either have to, and it's not too bad. You have this here to move the seat forward, and then it will, yeah, kind of makes it easier. But still, you got to kind of throw yourself back there. Not the worst thing on the planet. And they do give you these controls on the side, which make it a little bit better. But either way, there's the front area with the, the camera just freaked out, sorry about that. You can see the adjustments here, really nice leather trim on this one. Same thing here on the dash as well. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, nice trim all around, and the lighter interior of the steering wheel kind of creates a cool contrast. Bunch of practical controls in the front, including for our heated steering wheel, for example, cruise control, controls for the center. Land Rover still gives you traditional stocks there in the back, which is nice. Digital gauge cluster here in the center, which you can use to see different bits of information. And then you can also customize it. You know, you can do a single gauge layout if you want, for example. Now we've got the 360 camera system with this. You also have the bird's eye view and the cool little 3D view as well. So parking this is easy, and it's a small car, so it's not going to be difficult to park anyways. But quick response time, and something to note, it's colder outside today. Some touchscreens will not respond when it's colder outside to like finger touches, like warm up the tips of your fingers first. But this actually responds really well. You can see it only has a center locker, by the way, but that's cool. Now we've got our dual zone climate, heated seats here. We've got the air suspension adjustment. You can see with the hill descent control, low range, stability control, all of that. Drive mode select built in. You can adjust the seats also built into the controls, and then you have a shifter that takes a second to get used to, but pretty nice setup. Then we have the whole center console area here. I like the trim on the side, and it's very open space-wise. We've got the phone charging pad that's been reworked, center console, which I still love that feature so much. It's nice. And then nice trim all across the dash here. See Defender there, and then pretty big glove box. We've got the rear view mirror here, and then controls here for the, yes, panoramic sunroof in such a small vehicle. Here's a quick look at our window sticker for this, and this is an X-Dynamic SE, so it's a loaded up one, basically. Has quite a few options added to it as well, clean air suspension. $81,018 is the total MSRP on this. So yeah, it performs. Well, excuse me, set up in the two-door Defender. Visibility, by the way, is great because boxy SUV plus tiny. So it's cool. One of my friends bought one of these recently. He's got the does he have the roof rack or the ladder? One of the two, or maybe he has both. I can't remember. I see so many cars in a day. Sometimes I can't tell up from down. Depends on the day. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to drive this. I'm driving this back to back with the 4-door, and what I'm noticing is it's actually not really a downside in terms of ride quality so far. Usually the 2-door vehicles, because the shorter wheelbase and everything, just won't ride as well, but we'll have to kind of see as we go about. Yeah, it's not as comfortable. The longer wheelbase does help out. It does help out, so glad we sorted that out. But doesn't drive bad. It's actually a nice ride. It's smooth for a 2-door vehicle. I mean, you compare this to like a 2-door Wrangler, 2-door Bronco, and this rides a lot better. But yeah, when you compare it to other Land Rover product, it definitely, it's not bad. It's not quite as comfy. Handles well though. The small wheelbase, short wheelbase rather, feels strange. It's another thing. It's really, it's kind of like tippy almost. Braking's not bad. And you do feel like you're in a, because I mean, especially when you look at the side mirror, you can see that, you know, the vehicle just ends quite abruptly. So you do feel like you're in a smaller vehicle as well. Yeah, this is such an interesting setup. At least it feels interesting to me. Aside from that, the interior in these Defenders, I think this is actually aged pretty well and held up pretty well in terms of, I mean, this came out in 2020 and it still looks cool to this day. Look at that. Vroom vroom. The inline 6 is a great powertrain. Smooth. Sounds pretty good for a 6-cylinder, right? And just moves. It moves. See, as I was saying, is I feel like this interior is, you know, compared to a lot of other cars, it still feels nice to this day. Some cars after, you know, a few years after a release, you know, it's not so much. Like a good example is that I think is not going to age so well is some of the new Chevy product that I've been reviewing, where they've got like everything's a screen. I just don't think, and just how they've styled it and everything, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But I just don't think it's going to age as well as something like this. That's at least my take there. So, I guess that'll get us into setting things up with the 2-door. Man, this thing's so small. Brakes are kind of touchy. That's one thing I forgot. It's kind of an interesting thing. And yeah, the auto stop start. That's another thing that's interesting. I own a new Land Cruiser now. It's got the hybrid, and so that will shut the engine on and off, but it's not as intrusive because it has hybrid power to kind of fill in the gap as the engine's turning on. Yeah, I like how this drives overall. Again, it's just not as comfortable as a 4-door. And I just think, I mean, some people might not like me for this, but I think the Land Rover should just get rid of the 2-door because, I mean, it's cool. Here's the thing. It's one of those cars that everyone asks for and nobody buys. That's just what it comes down to. Again, outside of my friend that bought one, but like, it's just like these, you know, sports cars and everything. People ask for a certain thing, and then a manufacturer actually builds it. Like the new Toyota Supra, everyone asks for a manual Supra, and you know, some people are buying it, but like Toyota's not selling that many Supras. So it's kind of the same thing here. It's like everyone's like, I want a retro two-door off-roader, and then Land Rover's like, here you go. Ford, here you go. Jeep, here you go. And nobody buys them. Everyone buys the four-door, right? They don't buy the two-door. So I don't know. I think that cut their losses, and maybe when they redesign the Defender, probably just not do a two-door. I know people will be upset about it, though. You know, people will cry about it, but realistically, it won't affect sales that much because everyone wants a Ford. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I personally like the retro stuff, but also like vehicles are expensive, and so they got to be practical. It's like, this is 80 grand. If I'm gonna spend 80 grand, I want a usable trunk and easy access to the back seats. So yeah, four-door for me. But let me know what you guys think about the two-door Defender.